Hello, and welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're someone who loves uncovering the most mind-blowing secrets of our planet, you're in the right place. Today, we're about to dive into a story that's been billions of years in the making, a tale of how life on Earth came within a hair's breadth of extinction. That's right, we're talking about the closest life on Earth has ever come to being wiped out forever. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let us know what you think in the comments. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you more amazing content like this. Now, let's buckle up because this journey through history is going to be a wild ride. Part 1. Earth's chaotic past. For over 3.7 billion years, life on Earth has been through countless challenges. Asteroid impacts, solar flares, volcanic eruptions, and much more. Most of the time, these catastrophic events didn't change the overall course of life. But there were rare moments when they did. Moments that are forever known as extinction events. These events didn't just disrupt life, they reshaped it completely. Scientists have pinpointed 31 major extinction events in Earth's history, but 5 of them stand out as particularly catastrophic. These are the Big 5 extinction events, each of which wiped out at least 50% of all species on Earth. Among these, the most infamous is the asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs around 66 million years ago. Part 2. The Great Misunderstanding. When people think of extinction events, the asteroid that took out the dinosaurs is usually what comes to mind first. After all, it was sudden, wiping out approximately 75% of life on Earth, and the effects were apocalyptic. However, this event wasn't the deadliest of them all. That unfortunate distinction goes to an event so catastrophic that it's been dubbed the Great Dying. This event occurred at the end of the Permian period, about 252 million years ago, and it led to the destruction of a staggering 90 to 96% of all species on Earth. The recovery from this disaster took an astonishingly long time, 5 times longer than the recovery after the dinosaur extinction. Part 3. A Planet on the Edge. Before the Great Dying struck, Earth was already facing severe challenges. The climate had become unbearably hot, with temperatures near the equator reaching 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to roast a chicken. Pangaea, the supercontinent that existed at the time, created vast, arid deserts, and rainfall was scarce. Life on Earth was hanging on by a very thin thread. Then came the final blow, a series of colossal volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia set off a chain of events with apocalyptic consequences. Part 4. The Siberian Traps. By the time the Great Dying began, Earth had already become a wasteland, barely recognizable from its former state. Pangaea, the supercontinent that spanned much of the globe, caused extreme environmental conditions. The massive landmass disrupted weather patterns and created vast, dry interiors that were nearly inhospitable. Without oceans to moderate temperatures, the climate swung wildly from one extreme to the next. In the equatorial regions, temperatures soared to a blistering 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, roasting the land and making it almost impossible for life to survive. Rainfall was rare, and deserts dominated the landscape. Even the few remaining forests struggled as rivers and lakes dried up under the scorching heat. The size of Pangaea only intensified the disasters. Droughts, wildfires, and ecosystem collapses spread across the entire continent, leaving no safe haven for life. A single disruption in the food chain would trigger a ripple effect, causing massive ecological collapse. Life, which had already been weakened by previous extinction events, was on the verge of complete annihilation. Part 5. A Toxic Atmosphere. The volcanic eruptions of the Siberian Traps weren't just spectacular, they also turned Earth's atmosphere into a poisonous, suffocating environment. Huge amounts of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and other harmful gases were spewed into the atmosphere, dramatically altering the planet's climate and air quality. The skies darkened with thick layers of volcanic ash, blocking out sunlight and plunging the planet into an eerie, twilight like darkness. This reduction in sunlight disrupted photosynthesis, devastating plant life and cutting off the food supply for countless species. Acid rain, formed by sulfur dioxide mixing with moisture in the air, fell relentlessly, stripping nutrients from the soil, poisoning water sources, and making much of the land infertile. This toxic atmosphere set off a cascading chain of destruction, dismantling ecosystems from the ground up and leaving life with very few places to hide. Part 6: Extreme Heat and Firestorms. As greenhouse gases continued to fill the atmosphere, global temperatures skyrocketed to unimaginable levels, transforming Earth into a blistering furnace. The heat became so intense that entire forests, already dried out by the relentless warmth, began to ignite spontaneously. These firestorms swept across the land, consuming everything in their path and leaving vast ecosystems reduced to ashes. The fires were so powerful that they wiped out ancient coal swamps, once thriving ecosystems teeming with life. These swamps had played a crucial role in the planet's carbon cycle, but they were obliterated in the fiery chaos, leaving behind only charred, lifeless landscapes. The firestorms caused further devastation by filling the atmosphere with smoke and soot, creating a feedback loop that darkened the skies even more. As the coal swamps burned, they released massive amounts of carbon into the atmosphere, intensifying the already devastating greenhouse effect. For the survivors of the initial volcanic devastation, the relentless firestorms would be the final blow, sealing their fate in a world consumed by fire and heat. Part 7: Oceanic Havoc. The oceans, once the cradle of life on Earth, were transformed into deadly cauldrons by the catastrophic changes happening on the surface. The immense heat radiating from the planet caused sea temperatures to soar to nearly unbearable levels, killing off most marine organisms. Coral reefs, which were vital to ocean biodiversity, bleached and collapsed, and entire populations of fish and marine invertebrates succumbed to the extreme heat. The oceans didn't just warm up, they also became toxic. Volcanic gases and carbon dioxide absorbed by the seas disrupted the chemical balance, lowering the pH and causing acidification. The acidified water dissolved the shells of marine creatures, while the lack of oxygen suffocated others. Once thriving underwater ecosystems became barren, lifeless voids. This marine collapse mirrored the destruction on land, ensuring that no corner of the planet was spared from the relentless devastation. Part 8: A Radiation Nightmare. The ongoing volcanic activity also wreaked havoc on Earth's protective ozone layer, which shielded the planet from harmful ultraviolet UV radiation. With this shield gone, the planet was bombarded by intense UV rays, turning the once thriving Earth into a hostile, irradiated wasteland. Plant life, the foundation of nearly every ecosystem, was devastated. The few plants that survived were often stunted or genetically mutated, further destabilizing the already fragile food chains. Animals didn't fare any better. The intense UV radiation caused widespread genetic damage, triggering deformities, weakened immune systems, and a dramatic decline in reproduction across multiple species. Many creatures that had already been struggling to survive the environmental chaos were finally pushed over the edge by this invisible threat. Even as the ash clouds began to clear, the dangers of radiation lingered, delivering yet another catastrophic blow to a planet already on the brink of collapse. Part 9: The Rise and Fall of Extinction. Unlike the sudden and catastrophic asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs, the Great Dying unfolded in a series of violent pulses. Each wave of destruction was more catastrophic than the last. In between these waves, there were short, fleeting periods of calm that offered a temporary sense of stability, but they were always shattered by another cataclysmic wave. With every new pulse, ecosystems crumbled and entire species were lost, unable to cope with the changing and increasingly hostile conditions. These cycles of hope and despair made survival a fragile, fleeting achievement. The cumulative effects of these repeated extinctions altered the trajectory of life on Earth, leaving behind a radically different world each time, with new ecosystems and species emerging in the wake of each cycle. Part 10: A Transformed Earth. By the end of the Permian period, Earth had been completely reshaped. Vast stretches of desert-like terrain covered the continents, and the once thriving ecosystems were decimated. The planet was unrecognizable, a shadow of its former self. Only the toughest and most resilient species managed to survive in the harsh new world. These survivors would go on to form the foundation for the rebirth of life during the Triassic. The planet, though deeply scarred, was ready for a slow but steady recovery. Over millions of years, new species emerged and ecosystems began to rebuild. The story of Earth's mass extinctions is not just one of destruction, but also one of resilience and rebirth. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Earth's most catastrophic event. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.